Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn, and you're listening to Gabe Infinity Watch. Keep it up.
Hey everybody. Hey, Gabe Infinity Watch is back. I know it's been a little bit since my last upload of a video. Not much I could do about that. I had a little bit of a flooding issue in my house. So no worries, nothing major, nothing terrible or catastrophic at all. Just a nuisance and eats up a lot of free time. So I didn't have much time to really do any videos, but thankfully that gave me some time to kind of think up of ideas for videos. I got a few video ideas kind of cooking in the back of my bald head on what I'd like to do. But the first video, I was wanting to do this before the stupid flood in my house, is, that's right, finally everybody, the Jack Kirby Fantastic Four World's Greatest Artist Edition Spotlight, coming to you right after this. Just want to give everybody a shout out. Big ups to all the Omni Bros. Big ups, big special super shout out and big ups to just the Omni Dog. He had a flood as well, but was a million times worse than mine. He lost a lot of his collection. So likes and shares, thoughts and vibes go out to Jess. He's recovering well, and I only hope him future good news, because I would hate for anything like that to happen to me or anybody out there. If this is your first video, if this is your first time around here at Gabe Infinity Watch, give your boy some love, press that thumbs up button, press that subscribe button, check out my other videos. I do have another video of artist editions as well, but enough of that. Let's get into this bad boy right now. All right, everybody, here we go. Check it out. Here is one of the things I've been waiting for a very long time. Is this Jack Kirby Fantastic Four World's Greatest Artist Edition, and that is a true statement, everybody, and you'll get to see exactly why. We'll go through this book in just a second, but I just want to kind of just showcase how amazing this image here that they use for the cover. This is the original cover for Fantastic Four number 60. It's part of the storyline where Dr. Doom steals the Silver Surfer's powers and is using those powers to cause all kinds of ruckus and disturbances and Dr. Doomy kind of things, of course, right? So, but I just love this cover because of how well these figures are just laid out. You got this amazing fight between Thing and Dr. Doom. I love this image of Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, coming at you like this, while all at the same time, in the back, is Reed Richards apparently saving or protecting Sue up against the edge of this cliff. So this is so much already going on in this image here. But you might be able to see, I'm not sure if you can tell. Let's see if I can bring this up a little bit because this book is so big. There's all this red ink, you know, kind of displaying energy and power coming from Dr. Doom, and all this white out. This is cool stuff, and this is some of the stuff that you only get to see with these kind of artist editions. That's the kind of stuff that doesn't really show up on the original cover for Fantastic Four 60, just because of the poor printing processes and coloring and stuff like that was available at the time. It was pretty subpar compared to today. So these kind of things get lost, and these artist editions will give you the chance to experience these things for real. So that's really cool. So if you don't know what an artist edition is, it's basically comic books are drawn on paper. Duh. I mean, you know, you draw things on paper and stuff like that. But those pages that are drawn are on much larger pieces of paper than what is a comic book size. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So here's a Fantastic Four book from about the same time frame. This is issue 59. And as you can see, this is much smaller in scale compared to this artist edition, which is the actual size of the paper. Actual size of the paper that was drawn for comic books are the size of this book for this time period. So let's kind of take a look at, again, here's a regular comic. Here is a Fantastic Four Volume 1 omnibus. Still much larger. We have a CGC Fantastic Four book, which are pretty big because of the case. This book is still much, much larger. And to kind of give you guys a final idea of the way this size comparison is going to work, here is the original first Jack Kirby Fantastic Four Artist Edition. So this is the first Artist Edition IDW put out. And it is a very, very small contender to the new World's Greatest Artist Edition. And that's because this book here, I forget the exact issue numbers. I can link the video right here, because I did a video for this. I'll link the video on here if you want to see the more detailed information on this. But the pages that were used here were smaller at the time. That way artists can get books done quicker and more books can be produced and things like that. So this was smaller paper used to draw comics, where this, which is kind of the later run of Fantastic Four, the pages were much, much larger. It's referred to as twice up or double up size paper, which is kind of what they used in the golden age time of comics. They used these much larger paper, which was great because Kirby was able to really, really show off his storytelling ability in these much larger pages. There's a lot more panels to the page, where the other artist edition, not only was it later in Jack Kirby's career on Fantastic Four, and he was kind of getting tired of Marvel's nonsense, he was drawing a lot more splashes, and the pages were like 4, maybe 5 panels at most. But we'll see in here, it's a lot of panel work, a lot of storytelling, a lot of great stuff like that. So enough of all that, let's get this cooking. So already we're starting off with this is just the inside cover, but it's already just beautiful artwork already here by Kirby. We got this great Fantastic Four Silver Surfer book. I think this is issue, I'm going to say 67. I forget off the top of my head. I'm sorry. But this is a great, I love this image. I love that cover. And over here, see if I can show you guys a little bit. This is super cool. So here's the special thanks. And you'll see some of the names on here are actual names of great comic book creators that we all love today. So you have Arthur Adams, John Byrne. You know, these are 2 big comic creators. Joyce Chin, Jason Crosby of Comics Link. That's a really great website for buying original art and vintage comics and vintage art. You have Carl Kessel, who is a longtime inker and colorist and worked very, very long time on Fantastic Four. Neil Kirby, this is Jack's son. You got Tom Kraft of the Kirby Museum. Albert Moy, big time art dealer. Scott Williams, Joe Sinnott. All right, you'll see a lot of his work in here. So here's folks who deserve a great big old shout out for being able to contribute their special collections of Jack Kirby artwork to make this book happen. So big shout out and thanks to them. I don't really have the time to go over this, but this is a wonderful, wonderful forward by Joe Sennett, talking about how much he loved working with Kirby and all the influences and the work they did together and his friendship with Kirby and everything like that. So here, let's take a look. Here is the contents of this book. This is every page, the entire issue of Fantastic Four 33. This is the Submariner storyline. You know, scripted by Stan Lee. Chick Stone was inking Kirby at the time. Fantastic Four 45, Among Us, the Inhumans. Stan Lee, Joe Sennett is inking Kirby at the time on here. 47, Fantastic Four 47 by Stan Lee, Joe Sennett doing the inks. You got a couple awesome Marvel Mania posters that I'll show you guys. And Fantastic Four 60 by Lee and Sennett as well. So these are all the entire storyline, the entire issue of those books. Their artwork from there is contained in here. So let's go about this edition. Jack Kirby's Fantastic Four World's Greatest Artist Edition is part of an ongoing series, one dedicated to presenting outstanding artists in a format that is special as their work deserves. All right, so let's start flipping through this book. Here we go. First page, Fantastic Four 33, side by side with Submariner. This is, if you could picture the cover, maybe you've seen it. It's really cool kind of collage-y cover where the background is a photograph and then it's kind of cut out pieces of Atuma and Namor. You see how I was saying you got like all these panels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 panels. Because Kirby had more room to do these big panels, or more panels and more storytelling and more artwork on these larger pages. I love this Namor panel right here. I love the crown. You don't really get to see the Namor crown ever. A cool Jack Kirby signature on this page. That's awesome. And you can see from up here, there's a lot of notes. You'll see notes from Kirby, handwritten notes, because Kirby basically plotted these stories. So you'll see a lot of plot notes up there. And Stan Lee would take those plot notes and expand on them and do the dialogue for the panels after Kirby has already drawn them. So Kirby basically did the story, and Stan Lee expanded on it with, you know, the Stan Lee dialogue that only Stan Lee can do. Another great collage piece here. This isn't scanned from the original art. I guess this must be like a copy of a copy or something like that. Sometimes that happens in these artist editions, but 99% of the time it's all original hand art photographs. So again, we kind of explain, these aren't, I don't own the actual physical original arts. That would be incredible, but these are colored scans of people's artwork that they own of Kirby's. Like, you know, like we said, John Byrne, Art Adams, Albert Moy, Joe Sennett. So these are colored scans. And even though it's black and white and it's pencil and ink when they did these books, but you'll see colored marks, colored writing here and here, corrections, some of the lettering gets kind of whited out and maybe it was misspelled or they used a better word or whatever. But the color scans bring out those things. Some imperfections. There's tape along here. That tape there along the little continue after next page notes. The page 9. All these things are kind of just taped together. And you don't see that, you don't notice that in the printed comics. But when you see the original artwork, it's on there. And that's why these are colored scans, because you can actually see the fading of the paper, the whiteouts. Like here, it looks like there's some kind of paste up taken off, and this is a dried glue. Just amazing things like that involved with this artwork. Another great Namor image there. Great foreshortening here with Mr. Fantastic's finger. I mean, if you don't already know, this Kirby tech, Kirby is just still untouchable today. All the work and effort and designs that we see on these pages today from the early 60s, nobody's able to recoup or redo or even be able to ape correctly this kind of dedication and artwork. There we go. That's the end of Fantastic Four 33. Let's move on to first appearance of the Inhumans. Fantastic Four 44. I'm sorry, 45. 45. Again, I have that issue here. I'm really excited to flip through this artwork here with you guys because this is one of my favorite Fantastic Four books. Shout out to my boy Gio over at Week in Geekdom, another just beautiful person, part of the Omni Bros network. He is a huge Inhumans fan. So I dedicate this portion of the video, sir. This is for you. Wonderful Dragon Man here. I love the scaling work they did on this. Now, again, like I was saying, this is just a historic thing in that not only is this the entire issue, all 20, I think it was like 25 pages, I think they were doing back then. So it's the entire book. Somebody owns the entire book of the first appearance of the Inhumans, which is really cool considering now we got that Inhumans series coming out. And in this time, just a whole batch of new characters introduced all at once. I just love the scowl, the sort of just serious look here. You can see that Johnny's in thought, and you can always see that he's thinking, you know, you can read the story here and how he's kind of thinking about everything that's going on and how he kind of gets caught up and he gets, you know, kind of bamboozled into the Inhumans. Some more great Kirby tech right here. That's great, great work. Kirby tech here, the dotted lines for the Invisible Woman shields. Here's our first ever appearance of Lockjaw. He looks a little buff and mean than what we see him as today. As Johnny's being led into the Inhuman secrets. Crystal's giving Johnny a little tour. There's our first look at Karnak. I just love how they drew Karnak, just flipping him. Here's our first Triton appearance. But of course, you know, in this appearance, he's basically covered in just a wet bag the whole time. Other than like a scaly arm that you can see here. I always love when Johnny does the Fantastic Four and fire. It's so like played out and like a trope, but it's It's iconic every time. Now I do want to just special point out to this thing here, the tricycle, the airjet cycle. It's just so cool. Look at just how intricate, it looks like this could be a real flying contraption that can hold all three of the Fantastic Four members together. And another thing that I love is this panel up at the top corner here, where Karnak is holding that boulder. It's basically the cover. Got the Fantastic Four kind of looking around, not knowing what's going on, and behind them, they're about to get a giant piece of wall thrown on top of them, thanks to Karnak. And here's our first appearance of Black Bolt, bursting through the wall. Here's Fantastic Four 47. What's great about this Inhuman storyline is this Inhuman storyline was four issues, so that was like at the time like the longest running Fantastic Four storyline. And then after this we get the 3-part Galactus storyline. But this Inhumans is 4 parts, right? Or 3 parts. It's still 3 parts. So this is the first time there was a 3-part storyline. Because of course back then everything was one and done storylines, maybe 2. But this is, 45, 46, 47, and 48 starts the Galactus trilogy. Gotta love the thing coming out of, laying down next to, getting trampled on by Dragon Man. Great Black Bolt action here. Great Maximus with the crown. Kirby can draw some amazing looking, just elaborate crowns for sure. There's that iconic image. Love that image of Black Bolt putting on the crown. And up here, this is cool. I'll try and showcase this. We got an airplane. And we got Jack here up in the margins, kind of testing out how to draw an airplane. Another great Sue and Reed panel. And that is the end of the Inhuman saga. So what we have next is something really cool. I think it's the first time they may have done this in an artist edition. But we got this 2-page fold out. This is an image used for Marvel Mania, which was Marvel's like fan club at the time. So this is the image used for a poster that was sent out to Marvel Mania subscribers. And then on the flip side, it's awesome Doctor Doom Marvel Mania page that was also used for a poster. Look how beautiful that is. I actually have a t-shirt that has this image on it. I love it. Here we are with Fantastic Four 60. I love the shading and the shadows here on the Thing's rock scales. Gotta love that Doom on the board page. Gotta love that. And then up here, Doom heads for Latveria to plan his attack against big powers. Got a powerless Silver Surfer here imprisoned at Latveria in Doom's castle. Well, here we have the big fight that's on the cover, Doom versus Ben Grimm. Oh, that awesome Kirby crackle around here too. Got some Watcher action. Love just the design on all these little cubes and paneling and tiles back here with the Kirby crackle in space. And that's it for the full pages, or the full issues. So coming up, we have all these Kirby covers. As well as this art gallery of interior pages. Not complete issues, just a handful of pages from different books. And let's take a look. Cool Fantastic Four 40 page. Here's a great one. The unpublished alternate cover that Kirby did for Fantastic Four 52 First Black Panther. I don't know why they rejected this one. I kind of like this one better. A lot more action kind of happening here. Cover at 54. 55 is that Silver Surfer cover. Awesome. There you go. '56, '58. '59. Let's compare that cover. I didn't realize that cover was in here. '61, '62 First Blastar. '64, '65 First Run in the Accuser. '66, '68. '69, '70. '72 is an amazing cover. That's that bright red cover. '74. What annual is it? I think this is annual 2. Annual 5. I love that book. Not Brand Act number 1. And here's just some interior pages from other issues. This is 128, which retells the origin of the Fantastic Four. Now here's something, I don't know if this is going to fit on screen. I'm going to try my best. But we have like a 4-page fold out here. These are like greeting cards. I think we're also a part of the Marvel Mania subscriptions. I love this page here. That's the map of the Baxter building. With all her living quarters, rocket silo, rec room, gymnasium, dining room. Here's the living quarters. Here's all their apartments inside the Baxter building, and here's all the coffee stains on the original art too. That's from Fantastic Four Annual number 1. Here's pages from Fantastic Four 3. Let me go back real quick. This is Fantastic Four number 3, the first appearance of their suits, of the Fantastic Four suits in the Fantastic Car. This is amazing to see something just this far back in Fantastic Four history. Here's the suits with the 4 on it. Thing rips the top off of his. I guess that kind of starts the idea of him just wearing shorts, maybe. Now here's a very special piece of work here. This next section is a bunch of pages from Fantastic Four number 5, the first appearance of Doctor Doom. Now if you want to talk about like not only just Fantastic Four historical meaning, but just comic book historical meaning as well. This is the first appearance of Doctor Doom, the original artwork showcased here. Got Thing dressed up as Blackbeard. Some of the aftermath of the Namor story that was in Fantastic Four 4. Fantastic Four number 10. This is the first, I can't think of his name now. Impossible Man. There it is. Dick Ayers' autograph and Jack Kirby's autograph. Fantastic Four 13, first appearance of the Watcher. How cool is that to have the first appearance of the Watcher, original artwork? That is cool. Fantastic Four Annual number 1. Fantastic Four 28, where they meet up with the X-Men. So you get kind of a combination of Kirby X-Men and Kirby Fantastic Four. Got a few pages of that. That's great. Fantastic Four Annual number 2. This is cool because here's the scene where Doom takes his mask off to look at his scarred and horrific face in the mirror, and then he just destroys the mirror with a ray gun. Something you don't see very often, Kirby Daredevil. Here's the title page, or the title page for Fantastic Four 52 and 53. That's a fantastic Dr. Doom right there. And that's it, everybody. And I absolutely love this back cover they did. All right, so everybody, that's it for here. This is a little long. I know, I'm sorry. I hope you enjoyed flipping through this and taking in the beautiful artwork. But it's going to be it for the video. Again, please hit the like button, subscribe, check out my other videos. A great big shout out to IDW. Fine folks at IDW who put this together. Marvel as well for giving them, I guess, the permission and the license to make this. Scott Dunbier over at IDW, he is the man that's been putting these things together since the very first Rocketeer Artist Edition. So that man has changed the way original comic book art can be collected for people like you and I probably who can't afford $30,000 a page for Kirby Fantastic Four artwork. There you go. Hey, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what's going on. What you think. Do you have any questions? Anything like that? Let's go ahead and do that in the comments, everybody. Besides that, thanks again. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. The gauntlet. It's kind of. But I usually do it at the end of videos. Can't do it well here. Have a great day, everybody.